our lives. We all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a friend. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road, I'll share your load. If you just call me, if you need, just call me. Won't you please just call me? Please, please call me. If you need, just call me. Anytime, won't you call me? Please just call me. Won't you please call me? Please just call me. Please call me.
Good morning. Lean on me. And leaning on God. I would like to start today's service by doing some energetic affirmations with you, and then we're going to land on this beautiful prayer by someone from our congregation. At the end of the prayer, it will be revealed who that person is. So, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. One presence, one life, one God, here, now, always. The power of this awareness dissolves all fear, doubt, and worry. God-intoxicated thoughts forge a new groove in my consciousness. Health, vigor, and vitality are the order of my day every day. The high vibration of principle and practice is top priority in my life. I say yes in advance and meet my good everywhere I go. In all things I am grateful, and so it is. Amen. So let us pray. I just feel the wonder of that energy. Feeling each other and feeling the one presence together. Today I look at the aspects of God as creator, as source energy, as oneness, as love, as divine presence, as the creative flow, as that inner Christ spirit that I know is the individualization of God, as the substance out of which everything was made manifest. I look on that energy as a promise of plenty, an abundance of everything. I feel this energy as love, always present and flowing through me, and flowing through every person and everything. I feel this energy as the presence that flows through me as life, healing, and rejuvenation. I feel this energy as peace, joy, harmony, balance, and ease. Today, I choose to see the beauty in everything. Today, I choose to give love to all I see. Today, I acknowledge my many, many blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. And the winner is the volunteer of the month, Mary Mooney and Chuck Mooney. So please come up. And Barbara and Newsom, please come forward. Get up. Oh, kiss.
I always look forward to you.
As you know, Mary and Chuck, founding members of this beautiful ministry, and there's so much to be said about them. Maybe Barbara.
Like she said, they were the founding members, and in that, I'm sure that took, hundreds of hours. And I got thinking about it, has there been any committee or any group or any volunteer that you haven't done? No,
We'll have to think on that.
Okay. Oh.
I haven't done sound.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. But the beauty is they haven't just done this in the past. They're still doing it. They're still very active volunteering. And for this, we are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And before you say anything, Newsom, that's the power you guys bring into this platform. Beyond the doing, it's the being. It's the consciousness that you bring. And all of what we're doing here is just standing on consciousness. So thank you so much for being yourself and being present and just loving us, because like I remember that prayer, that World Day of Prayer, as we were leaving the service, you were holding Mary, somebody's name in your chest. And I remember going, I would love to be that person there. I could really feel the love. So thank you. Newsom.
I was that person. I have been my prayer chaplain for the last umpteen years now, and
it has been a wonderful thing, and so I'm sure it was me, actually, at that point. But I just want to say that we're going to take up an offering at some point, and I would like them to be the example. When the church this church did not always have a smooth thing. It started out exciting, terrible, kind of like that. At one point during that terrible time, they signed a pledge to keep this place going financially. And I think that kind of ownership of this church set the conditions for us to be successful as we are today. So I really appreciate that. And I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you. So thank you, Chuck and Mary. So let's stand and give them a blessing.
The church has become what I always envisioned it could be, and I'm just really happy to be here with all of you.
And Mary, the sound booth is right there, so when you get done, let's bless them. We'll say our words. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ in you. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you.
And I'm glad you're standing there because there's more. You guys may be seated, but we have a group from our choir who's doing a special song for the Moonies.
This could be tough.
May your life be full and long, full and long. Oh, may your hearts be full of song. Oh, may the things you think and feel be deep and strong. And until I don't know when, may God hold you in the palm of her hand, of her hand.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready to join in our congregational song this morning? So you may stand now and join us in singing, Because All Men Are Brothers.
Because all men are
welcome officially to our 11 o'clock service. I want to extend a special welcome to those who are watching online in our stream. Thank you for joining in this morning and hopefully every morning as we come together to be one. Happy Memorial Day weekend, and we just say thank you to those who had the courage and the love for a cause, for our country. I do have some announcements, and as you know, every Sunday during fellowship time in our fellowship hall, we normally feature a volunteer team, and today it's about the Finance Committee. And I would like to just really open up here. It's been almost 3 years that we moved to this brand new church, and not many Unity churches are stepping up in building newer churches or even in other denominations. And we are aware that it takes a village. It takes a good leader, it takes our own people in boards, and in this case, there's this amazing team of volunteers who are part of the Finance Committee to discuss what many of us don't like to discuss much of, money and budgets and projections and strategies. And they do this every month. So I would like to ask you to please, if it's in your heart, to stop by when you go to the fellowship time after service and just say thank you. Thank you for the work you do. I know there are times where we find ourselves running a loss, and they have to stand there with the face of knowing that somehow the flow is going to come back, and it always does. But I have pure admiration for this team, and again, stop by, say thank you, and if you want to step it up, you're going to see a beautiful lady there. Her name is Mary Graham. She's our operational director, and look how comfy she's there. That was a picture taken in Puerto Rico. She was really relaxed. But today we'll get her to work. Actually, she'll be there to answer questions if you're moved to become an automated giver. It's very simple. It can be done online, and she'll be there to help you or answer any question. And I stand fully on the power of giving, and the more we give consistently, the more that flow comes back, and we get blessed so we can continue blessing, so we get more, so the blessings go on and go on. And I believe that that's how our church has flourished, because of you and your giving hearts and the happiness and joy that comes from giving. So anyways, I had to say this. And then today also at 2, like every other weekend, we have every other Sunday, the Nonviolent Communication meets at 2 here in the green room. And next Sunday, we have a special guest, Greg Lavoie. He'll be the speaker at both services, and he will have an afternoon workshop. Greg Lavoie is the author of a book called Callings, Findings, and Following an Authentic Life. It's rated among the top 20 career publications. He's been a keynote speaker at the Unity Worldwide Ministries Conference, Smithsonian Institution, EPA, National Conference on Positive Aging, and he's been being frequent guest in the media, including ABC, CNN, NPR, and PBS. His book and his workshop, the Callings one, it's, let me just read you a little on that. In Search of an Authentic Life, callings are urgings from the deep self that tell us what it will take to make our lives literally come true. They point us toward awakenings, course corrections, and powerful authenticity. In this presentation, he will explore with you, everybody, the psychological, spiritual, and practical processes we encounter in listening and responding to our callings. And there's so much more, but I think already with what I've said, I'm sure you're already saying, yes, I'm doing that. And then during the week, on Wednesday, there's a new yoga class starting. It's a slow flow yoga at 10:30, open to all levels. We love to see people here during the day too. It can get a little lonely during the week, so come and stop by and say hi. And last but not least, I will be facilitating a class exploring unity. It will be Thursday nights at the 13th and the 20th. This is a class on the essence of the unity message, the philosophy, the history, the principles. It is a requirement if you want to become a member. Even if you already are, join me. There's always something new we can learn about unity, and it's my favorite subject. I just love speaking to you about unity. So keep that in mind, the 13th and the 20th. I'm done. Now you start working. Get back up and join me in singing the welcome song.
Of your people, so we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name.
I just see so many beautiful faces of God. So just turn around and acknowledge that together.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning. We invite all members, past and present, of the prayer ministry to please stand and join us as we support with prayer all of the prayer requests in the prayer box. And I would like to remind you that prayer chaplains wearing purple badges and stoles are available around the sanctuary after each service if you would like to pray with them. And they would love to pray with you. Let us pray. We allow the breath to relax us as it carries us into the sacred haven of the heart. We merge in perfect alignment with divine awareness. We enfold every prayer request and every individual in need of prayer in the everlasting embrace of the one power and presence. We rise above all outer appearances of loss, lack, or limitation, knowing that God is greater. We release every circumstance and every outcome to the perfect metamorphosis of divine love. We give thanks for our irreversible highest good that is guaranteed by its omnipotent source, and all is well. Amen.
All we are is all we are, and all we are is love. All we are is all we are, and all we are is
As we begin, let us settle in, adjust our seating so we're comfortable. Let the body begin to relax as we prepare to meditate and move deeper. Let the body adjust, and to follow the rhythm of the body, we'll pay attention now for the breath. As the breath comes and goes, we'll pay attention just to that. With the attention on the breath, the mind quiets. And as we go deeper, let us also now allow the mind to remember the things it's grateful for. Let us feel our sense of gratitude in our bodies and our minds. Begin to feel appreciation. As we go deeper, we will continue the appreciation. And as we go deeper, we may see that we can appreciate nearly everything in our lives. The adversity that has made us stronger. The loneliness that has made us go more deeply within ourselves and to become more acquainted with what's going on within us. The setbacks that redirected us. And as well, the successes, the easy days, the love and the fun. Let us see if we can extend appreciation to all that is in our life. And as we go deeper and expand our appreciation, we unite with everyone in this room to come to a more full understanding of the blessings of our lives as we sit together in holy silence.
Give us this day our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy. This day, this
Amazing. Today is the weekend of Memorial Day, and so before we do anything else, I think it's good for us to be reminded why we have this day. It's because others have given their life in defense of the country or pursuing the idea of spreading our freedom to other people, or just giving of themselves for others, essentially is what it is. And I think to mobilize a nation and have millions of men and women dedicate themselves to the possibility of being in harm, but for the greater good, you need an overarching philosophy. You need something, an ideal that people can relate to. They need to believe in what they're doing, and that may get people in the position to put themselves in harm's way. But the thing that gets them to take the dangerous and difficult task of actually potentially dying is not so much the overarching idea, but the people next to them. That the troop that they're in has become their family. It has become the people that they relate to, the ones that they belong to. And in belonging, then they are responsible. They feel like the other will take care of them and they will have their back as well. And so this idea of belonging is a great safety net for each human being, and it is strong enough that you'll put yourself in harm's way to protect another. And if you do not have that sense of belonging, you suffer psychologically. So there's studies done with foster kids, and foster kids are often taken away from their families. And when that happens, then many times these kids feel like they don't have anybody who has their back really. And that causes them to go into the fight or flight state of mind, and they might find it much more difficult to learn because they're in this fear state, and they have a harder time adapting to life in general. It may follow them throughout their life. This is a problem that happens to people who, as young people, don't feel as though they are belonging to anyone. And this need to belong begins very early. It starts when you're born. Essentially, you're born a helpless being, and within a matter of days, if not hours, you might perish if you're not taken care of by someone else. We need to feel like we belong to someone who is with us, who accepts us and loves us as we are. And kids, babies, learn to smile, to coo, to do some really cute things to get you to like them. And if they fail at that, they know it's not going to go well. So they are really into it as best they know. They give it their best shot. They waste a lot of time crying, in my opinion, but they try. And that bonding between the parent and the child is fundamental. This the child can say to the parent, you belong to me and I belong to you. And that gives the ground for the development of the child in the most helpful ways. Unfortunately, it is, at least in one study, conjectured that 70% of us didn't have sufficient amount of that in our growing up, which leaves us feeling more adrift, less grounded to something, less able to face the challenges of life because we revert to this feeling of not having people. Our people aren't holding us. That we're not protected. We're not safe. And so for much of our life, looking or wanting to belong is not completely fulfilled. But we're after it, and we go for it. And so in going for it, we often put up a false self so that people will like us, right? You familiar with this? You smile more, you nod a lot more, you know. You're pretty agreeable. You might normally be that way. Nobody says you have to be grumpy to be authentic, but basically, you're giving it like a good baby, your best shot. And maybe crying is what makes you feel like people will relate to you. So a lot of people relate to each other through their mutual suffering. So how's it going? Oh, okay. And you're hoping they go, so what's up, right? And then you express your loss or your sadness or whatever, and they go, yeah, okay, well, I'll see you. And you realize those are not your people when that happens, right? So, but if they do, then you're starting this bonding experience where you begin to know each other. Now, we do small groups here twice a year. We do book studies, and if you're not in one yet, next time it comes up, I suggest it. Because in a small group, you begin to have enough intimacy that people can actually get to know you. On Sundays, it's usually too many people to feel like you really can sit down and talk with people long enough, or you see them often enough that you get to know them. And so we invite people to join these small groups. And in the small group, that little false self may come up. But the idea is that if we have enough interaction with people, then the beginnings of revealing ourselves will happen. And this authenticity of who we are, this simplicity of just kind of expressing your thoughts without too much reservation, and it being rewarded by someone saying, I think I understand what you're saying, is the beginning of friendships. And those friendships, then, if you have a group, let's say of 8, 10, 12, 4, whatever the number is, then you begin to feel as though you belong. I think a lot of people come here on Sundays, they come and they go, wow, this is an unusual church. Is this a church? And they say, they come for a little while and then they leave. And you can tell they were touched by being here. Usually they'll say something after the service is over, or they'll cry during this. Something will have touched them. It'll go on like that. And then they leave. And the reason they leave, in my opinion, is they haven't found those people to belong to inside this organization. So we have an overarching ideal, but we need our small groups to be belonging. And some of you have been able to feel like you belong without it. Some people walk in here thinking they belong everywhere, which is a great way to be. You know, I have a friend, my best friend from California. He sure thinks he belongs everywhere. Everybody is his friend. Everybody is interested in what he has to do and what he's saying and all that. He just assumes that. It's really, actually, it's not as obnoxious as it sounds. It's actually can be quite charming. But most people are a little more cautious than that. They're not really sure how to manage and negotiate it. So let me say that you're not alone. The internal awkwardness, even though you might be smooth on the outside, is very common. That many of us, when we even get into a small group, we still retain a bit of that, I'm not sure about you, right? How am I coming across? And you're checking and calculating, is this working? Right? Or is it just me? Maybe it might be. So this vulnerability is part of the thing where you expose yourself. And, those of us who've been around a while, we kind of calibrate this opening process. And I don't think that's a bad thing. You don't want to tell everybody your worst experience in life. You really don't want to do that because you're wasting your breath. They don't care. Not everybody's going to care. No offense to everybody. But you don't, do you? And you don't want to hear about it. And you can't deal with it either. So it's okay. Don't put people in that position until you think they're ready. And then test the waters. Be wise. Don't throw pearls before swine. But unveil yourself somewhere. Because this is part of what it is to be fully at ease in the world, is to find your tribe, to find your people that like you, that understand you, that get your language, and occasionally you'll laugh at your jokes. That's really important, right? So that's kind of the psychological level. We are born to want to belong. Many of us were not skillfully parented, and we're working at it harder because of that. But everybody's working at it to some degree. And we want to belong, and if and when we do find a place to belong, then we should be careful and take good care of it. And belonging means not only will they take care of you, but that you will take care of them and step up when it's your turn. This is like a blueprint of how to belong in this world. But there's another aspect to it. And that is essentially, that's the psychological, but what is the spiritual aspect of this? What else is there? Now, I think the statement that I quoted last week by Buckminster Fuller has kind of stuck with me throughout the week. And his statement was 99.9% of you is not visible. The part that you can see and smell is only 1/10 of 1% of who you are. If you take that to be at least marginally true, then the bulk of you is invisible. The bulk of you we never see, and is not exactly, I can't identify you, the bulk of you by what your job is, how many degrees you have you been divorced, any of that stuff. It is your soul, for lack of a better word, or the self. It is something that is grander, bigger than this body and the mind and the circumstances of your life. This is the bulk of who we are, and most of us spend most of our days forgetting all about it. And so we run around trying to make sure that we handle it on the surface level, and we are buffeted by the need to belong, and we do things that are kind of not necessarily in our favor all the time. That's one of the things we're buffeted by. We're buffeted by a lot of things, but the trick is to find and develop a relationship with the bulk of who you are and not feel so isolated. You are really not a baby. You're not completely dependent on someone else. You have a greater source within you than all of that which is around you. And that's the self or the soul. This is the whole of the larger part of you. And I kind of make this analogy that the thing I'm talking about is like the whole of you, and the part that you can see, the flesh and brain and mind of the person. This is like your fingertip. And you're being manipulated by all of this. You're kind of being pushed around a little bit. Or you're asked to go someplace. Sometimes you refuse, but your life is unfolding, not so much always according to your thoughts, but according to this bigger self. And it is using your life, it or you are using this life to unfold more capacity, more love, more understanding, more fullness. And and this is just the point of it. It's the pyramid turned upside down, and the point of it is right where you sit right now, but there's a lot of you that isn't visible. We don't see it, but it's there to talk to you, to help you, to guide you. In the Hindu tradition, there's a big emphasis on having a guru, and the guru is an external being that you can turn to for wisdom and guidance. And I was watching a video of a man who at age 19 or 20 became a student of a guru and went, after he finally qualified, 2 years of getting ready, he finally qualified to enter this ashram. He was there for 10 years. In the 10 years, the guru did a lot of things that would irritate most of us. For instance, he would have him sleep in different places in the ashram, in the conference room, in a hut, in a tunnel, just moving him around all the time. And this guy said what he was doing was he was trying to refine me. And I just said yes. Whatever he asked me to do, I just said, yes, I'll do it, and I'll do it as well as I possibly can. So he had an external guru who was moving him around many times into uncomfortable situations, certainly asking him to do things that did not fit his ego exactly. He said, to be a good monk, you have to do 3 things. You have to be humble. Well, this is obvious if you're a monk, right, and you have a guru. The guru is going to tell you what to do. You should be humble. You're also the one who doesn't know. You're the student. You might be the last to know why you're doing something. So be humble. And going along with that is this idea that you should be obedient. You've chosen this life. You have chosen a teacher. The teacher knows more than you do, and you choose to do obedience. And the third thing is to be responsive, which is when you're told to do something, get on it, do it right then. Or if you see a trash on the floor, pick it up, or someone else's dish in the sink, wash it, be responsive. Those are the three ideas of how to be a good monk. But if you think about it, it's really how to be a good person. Be humble. God knows we have enough arrogance going on these days, don't we? A lot of shouting how great I am. It's getting old to me, but I don't know. It's been growing for decades, hasn't it? Like, let's dial it down. So be humble, be obedient, and be responsive. So let's talk about the obedience. Now, as this guy was obedient to his guru, the interviewer asked him, he said, so what if your intuition told you what the guru was telling you was wrong? He said, well, it really doesn't work that way. He says the guru is working on through his intuition. And if I am in my intuition, then we're in agreement. And it doesn't go counter. Now, if I'm in my intellect, I will definitely object to being asked to sleep out in a tunnel. I didn't like it. But he told me to do it, so I did it. So even though the mind may dislike something, the depth of you can still do it. And the last thing, is be responsive, which is just like life, Don't procrastinate, get on it, move in the direction of making things better right where you are. So now here's the curious thing. In the East, you have the guru, but they always say the self, the guru, and God are the same thing. Self, guru, and God are the same thing. So you don't have to have an external guru to be humble, obedient, and responsive. Your internal 99.9% of who you are is yourself, your guru, your internal guru. And to turn your attention toward that and to make a relationship with that and to belong to that is a deep sense of belonging. You know where you're going because you're asking. You're listening. You're waiting to be told. You're jumping on it as soon as you know what to do. And you're definitely humble about who you are in this life. Because this is not the big S. This is the little s, right? And the trick is not to be a little s. Glad you're with me this morning. So, so this belonging has multiple layers. It has the horizontal layer of psychologically finding your people and being with them, and the comfort in the of associating with birds of the feather like you is quite comforting. It's why we come here on a Sunday. It's important that you come here on a Sunday for yourself, but you'll be surprised what an impact, whether you know it or not, you're making on everyone else. And I'll just explain this by contrast. Let's just say that you come here on a Sunday at 11 o'clock and you're the only person here except for me. You're going to think, this guy's a loser, I don't want to hear from him, and I don't like this place at all because nobody goes there. It has no value, or there would be more people here, right? But if, on the other hand, there are people here with you, you go, I'm affirmed. I'm on the path. It is a legitimate path. It is taking me where I want to go. It's helping me unfold myself, right? So your presence here, whether you know it or not, each and every one of us confirms to the other person that they're not alone and that they are on a legitimate path. So I congratulate you for being wise enough to come here. Thank you very much. But this is at the psychological level, but if we only stay there, I think we miss part of the whole longing for belonging. Our longing for belonging is to long to belong to God, Guru, or self. Take your pick. To belong in a spiritual way, to connect. So the trick with belonging to your soul or to yourself or to your God is to listen, to spend time in reflection and in quiet. Part of what's harming us these days is that we have foolishly, as a world, chosen busy over depth. And consequently, we are wasting a lot of our natural resources and a ton of our own time chasing after BS and going nowhere with it. Average attention span of the American populace is 7 seconds. That ain't good. So build time into your day so that you could be with yourself, little s and big S. Be with yourself. Listen. Contemplate. Sit on the couch, cross-legged or straight up, however you want to do it. Do something. Listen to your soul trying to talk to you. Listen for it. And when you hear something, do it. Do it. I mean, it may be foolish for the outer world, but the outer world doesn't know what you know. You are the messenger. You're the guru of yourself. Be obedient to that knowing when it happens. And finally, be humble about it. You could be wrong. I thought you said celibate. You said celebrate? Anyway, so that could happen. Be deeply engaged with yourself. This is the gift of a world in which you live in a place of abundance and appreciation. It's you don't have to be always trying to get more to be satisfied. So if you're not satisfied and appreciative of what you have right now, if it doesn't kind of have a sense of fulfilling you, adding more to it will add more to the sense of dissatisfaction and incompleteness. It's just more. The trick is to become appreciative of where we are right now and then realize that you have so much that you can turn within and you don't have to waste every day trying to fill up your brain or your wallet. You can actually turn and listen to what's already there. this monk who was moved around by his guru, said he kept moving him around for months until one day, and he would do it at the middle of the night or any odd times. It was just inconvenient. It would just irritate almost anybody. And he said, as a monk, you don't have much stuff. You got your beads and he said, but I had a couple of books from my guru and a few little knickknacks that I would have to gather up and hide during the day when I was sleeping in the conference room or carry with me to the tunnel or something. Finally, he said, I don't have time for this stuff. And he got rid of all his books and his little knickknacks, which is small for a monk, but when he gave it up completely, the guy stopped moving around. We don't need everything we have. We don't need more to be happy. We don't need more to hear ourselves. We don't need more to belong. You already belong. You are enough. And whatever you have, well, good on you. Be happy about it. And then the good things will come to you naturally. And you don't need it to be, I heard this phrase, I was talking with a poet yesterday, and she said that she read this book. It was really influenced her. It was a book, and in the book, the guy walks around like he's dead already. And I've been thinking that maybe that's essentially what we're asking you to do, is to walk around as though your ego were dead already, right? So be humble, be courageous. I mean, if you don't have your ego involved, you can say some really outlandish things to somebody for their good, of course. And if they come back at you and tear you down and beat you at your own game, it's okay because it's really not about you, right? You can be kind and gentle to someone because it's not about you. You can be whatever the situation calls for because it's not about you. If you're dead to yourself and alive to your soul, you're on another trajectory. You have the right and the calling to do whatever you feel is necessary because you belong to God. Let us pray. What do you hear? What do you hear? When the still small voice speaks to you, what do you hear? Or is it so quiet you don't hear it? Perhaps just asking a question. Like, what is mine to do, or what state of being do I need to be in? How shall I live? How shall I serve? There's some question that will unlock it, and you'll hear it. There's a phrase told in the realm of enlightenment, that which you have been seeking your whole life has been seeking you. The very thing you have been seeking has been reaching out to you. Listen. And smile. And so it is. Amen. I have one announcement. In about 3 weeks, we're going to have a couple come here. They're going to do a a conversation about blending families together. You know, it's very common in our culture and very, very common in this church to have a blended family or to be on the road to having a blended family. So for some of us, it's going to be direct in its application, but I think in general, the ideas is the same. How do you open your heart to other people in an intimate setting and be respectful of your own needs and desires and your family members and also a whole new bunch of people? How do you do that? If you can get that down at home, just think how easy it'd be to do it at work or someplace else. So anyway, we're having that discussion. I hope you can show up for that. As you can see, I'm not working much this summer. So it's amazing how we have all these people stacked up. It's really, really great. We're also going to take up an offering. I would like you to consider this, that if you wish to belong to this church, you need to own it. That's how people do it here. They give of themselves into it somehow. Time, talent, or treasure. They give into it, and then they become owners. So, you know, two of our biggest shareholders are sitting on the front row, right here, Chuck and Mary, because they have given into it over the years. It has become, they own this place. Like everybody else who's given into it. There are many of you, as I look through the crowd, I can see people who've done the same thing. As we give into it, give to it, it becomes ours. And we belong here, and it belongs to us. That's probably an analogy for a relationship as well. But right here, it definitely works. So let's practice. We'll practice right now with money, but do not let that be your only way of giving. Give a compliment, give love, do service, do something. Make this your church. Own it yourself. Let's say these words together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Tim and company.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self our country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine till all success be nobleness and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above thy fruit-head plains. America, America, God shed her grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood. From sea to shining sea. America, America,
director, and we've had a fun 2 days of washing cars outside. And we want to thank everyone, not only for their monetary contributions, but for all the positive feedback that we are still receiving after the youth-led service. I'm really proud to say that we belong to a church family that really supports and appreciates their youth. That really touches our heart, and we wanted to thank you.
Yeah. You are so right about that. We do love and appreciate you, and we would love to give you a blessing. So if you will stand, please.
Okay.
Hear the words that we hope reverberate through your heart forever. Together. You are loved, special, and important, just the way you are. So now let's join hands and we'll sing the peace song. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a great week.